For centuries, people failed to understand mental illness and intellectual disabilities. Finally, in the late 19th and 20th centuries, doctors started to make a real effort to better understand the brain and began experimenting with ways to fix what they saw as mental deficiencies. Today, we explore the history of lobotomies. We'll learn about two doctors, Freeman and Watts, who mastered the procedure, discuss their failures and a few successes, and look further into this now barbaric practice that was once thought to be able to cure brain impairments. We'll also take a moment to tell the story of Rosemary Kennedy and how a failed lobotomy forever altered her life. I'm Mike.
I'm Ian.
And I'm Dave. If you were expecting another UFO show tonight, stick around. After last weekend's news letdown, I need another UFO show like I need a hole in my head. This is Necronomipod. So, Ian, that News Nation episode, story update on UFOs was pretty amazing last weekend.
That's the last time the UFO world is going to get me with something, to quote the President George W.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again."
I will not be fooled again by the UFO world.
Well,
You sure about that?
Yeah. Give it a couple months.
Weren't we supposed to get an announcement this week, too, that the aliens are going to be here in 2027? 2027?
Yeah. Bunch of fools. For real, a bunch of fools.
it was 72 hours after Trump took office, or 72 hours from the release of the News Nation video?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Greer put 72 hours on it. And when he said 72 hours, it lined up with when the News Nation thing was going to be released.
I see.
Grifter's going to grift.
I know, man. And then that, like, as soon as it ended with that guy talking about his own program or like his own company that's going to search UFOs, I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I was for real mad.
Yeah, I was trying to picture you at home as I was watching. I'm like,
Start flipping tables in my house.
Cool egg, though, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Like when you start, like it's cool to talk about stuff like remote viewing and like all those like real projects, but and like actually talk about them is one thing. And like look at those documents and shit and actually read about it. But when you go on national TV and you're like, all right, we use psychics as like military assets and stuff, and then you don't show any proof of that at all.
Right.
Like that's silly. That to the average person, even me, I'm like, why are we talking about this right now?
Yeah.
Like, are we really talking about remote viewing and trying to be for real?
Talking about remote viewing?
It certainly seems like something we would ease into. Like, give us some proof first.
Yeah.
And then let's build to remote viewing.
You have to show have the receipts for that.
I was going to say receipts.
Yeah.
You need some receipts.
Mm-hmm. Not just
bona
an egg.
fides.
Yeah, you can't have that egg.
We've brought more receipts for remote viewing than anybody else has.
This is true.
Yeah, I was in Sudeikis' house. Like, that was legit. I saw the Blumpkin taking place, so.
There's literally audio of what you saw.
It was recorded live.
You can't
fake that.
You can't fake that.
No.
There's a new documentary that had a trailer come out, and it looks credible. Like there's a lot of like former intelligence people in it and all this stuff. I watched the trailer for it, and I'm like, I would know I'll eventually watch this when it comes out. But right now, I'm like, this is the same shit that I've been hearing forever.
Yeah. Fool me in 2026, maybe.
Maybe.
You said that almost as well as George. Full. I'll see you in 2026.
I tripped myself up there. I heard George in my head as soon as I opened my mouth.
I like the video of that when he's just like kind of leans forward on the podium.
He's like, uh-oh.
And just looking around at the crowd.
Like, I really stepped into it now because I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
You know, he always had the reputation, and people always joked because of his goofiness that he was a partier and, you know, drunk or whatever. You know, he'd been sober since like the mid 80s.
After that cocaine arrest?
He had some issues back then.
Sure.
He hit it a little hard. And then he's been sober for a long time. That's just who he is.
Did they just like get him in line? Like, hey, you should probably chill out with that shit.
Well, I think at least in reading George H.W. Bush's biography that I read, like W knew what his political future and what he wanted. And he was like, if I don't make a change now, like I'm never going to do anything. So
Yeah, Papa Bush was like, hey, numbnuts, your brother Jeb's going to be president someday. You want to be fucking Billy Carter too? So get your act and get
also
your shit together.
It's Jeb's. Come on. I fucking need you here, pal. You want Jeb? We'll let him run something important like Florida.
That had to have killed Jeb, right? George became president and he didn't.
Is Jeb older?
No, I think Jeb's younger.
I think he is younger, but I think viewed himself as the smarter brother, right? Like the more likely path to the White House.
I mean, I view myself as a smarter Bush brother. I'm not even part of the family.
I love the memes that have come out with George W. recently.
He's so great from the inauguration. I've been watching all that shit.
I saw one that said, when you take an edible and forget that you had something super important to do, with him looking around.
Tell me it wouldn't be the best time of your life smoking a joint, sitting with George and Obama.
That would be a good time.
And Bill
Fun
Clinton.
would that be? And Bill,
That'd be so much fun.
dude.
I would hang out with any of those three and have a time of my life.
You know how bad I wanted to start the show with Teenage Lobotomy from the Ramones, but sadly I was unable to secure the rights.
Oh, yeah.
This is a fucked up story.
Yeah, I came up with this idea watching or listening to Coast to Coast. I was listening to an old one with Art, and he had on a neurologist, like an actual doctor. Like there was no conspiracy shit to it.
Sure.
It was just like an actual guy talking about the brain and consciousness and stuff. But then they started getting into lobotomies a bit and Rosemary Kennedy's story. I'm like, oh, this would be really interesting to do a deep dive into this story.
Do they take calls like people who have been lobotomized west of the Mississippi call?
No.
Open line. Open line. The lobotomies open line.
Sir, let me stop you there. Have you been lobotomized? I don't know why you're calling me.
You're not using this line properly.
It's not the Antichrist night, sir. Antichrist can call tomorrow. This is lobotomy night.
Didn't we do that for one of the Art Bell shows? One of those Antichrist open lines?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
I listened to that episode like 2 or 3 times because we picked a few of those. It was insane. The one person's like, Art Bell. And he's like, oh my. I don't know what we just heard from that caller.
It's one of the Antichrist ones where somebody calls in and they're like, or it's like, are you the Antichrist? They're like, no. And he's like, well, then why are you using this line? Like, just fucking
What the fuck is wrong with you, dumb fuck?
tears into this person.
It's obviously the Antichrist line. They announced it 4 seconds ago. Why are you calling me?
Yeah, they only say it before and after every break, and Art reminds you 1,000 times. All right, let's jump in.
Walter Jackson Freeman II was born on November 14th, 1895 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, into a family with strong ties to medicine. His grandfather, William Williams Keene, which that is absurd. Why do you have your first name and middle name the same?
W square Keen. Not bad. Not bad.
He was a well-known Civil War surgeon and one of the top brain surgeons of the late 1800s.
What do you have to do to be a top brain surgeon of the 1800s? Like how you know how to use a hammer?
Just a mallet and an ice pick.
Keene was the first person to remove a brain tumor from a living patient. So growing up with such an accomplished figure in the family, Freeman believed that big achievements in medicine weren't just a possibility, but they were expected of him. That's fucking wild. A brain tumor surgery in the 1800s.
Oh my God.
What's that like?
Not good. Probably like a Civil War surgeon where you're biting on a piece of wood and they're sawing your leg off with no anesthesia.
Except your head's open.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Freeman started at Yale University in 1912 and graduated in 1916. Friends described him as someone who loved debating and would bring up controversial topics. His confidence sometimes came across as arrogance, but a lot of people were drawn to him. After Yale, Freeman went to the University of Pennsylvania Medical School, where he studied neurology with some of the top experts in the field. At that time, doctors were starting to take a more scientific approach to understanding the brain and mental illness, which we'll talk about that stuff in a little bit. Freeman's passion for addressing severe mental illness partly came from personal experience. By the early 1900s, mental asylums were common, but their treatments were very basic. Patients were often stuck in routines of sedation, not a psychiatric medication that would make you tired, but something that would just knock them out. Confinement and occasional shock therapy with zero chance of real recovery. During his studies, Freeman visited facilities and saw these terrible conditions firsthand. Patients were locked away for years, a lot of times forgotten by families who couldn't or wouldn't care for them at home. Seeing those conditions, along with knowing his grandfather had pushed the limits of neurosurgery, Freeman decided that he was going to change psychiatric care. That's one of the most interesting things about doing this outline is I thought this was going to be pretty black and white coming into it. I thought I was going to be like, this guy's a fucking monster and these people are all monsters, but it's not as black and white as that, this story.
It seems aspirational at this point, coming from a good place.
Good intentions.
Good intentions.
After finishing his medical training, Freeman moved to Washington, D.C. in 1924.
That's where all the crazy people are, so good looking out.
At 28 years old, he became the city's full-time neurologist and became the lab director at St. Elizabeth's Hospital, one of the biggest mental hospitals in the United States. St. Elizabeth's housed thousands of patients suffering from conditions like psychosis, severe depression, and dementia. The most severe cases in the area would eventually end up at St. Elizabeth's.
Then at the Capitol building, sworn in.
Just after they were lobotomized.
That's right.
In the hospital morgue, Freeman studied the brains of dead patients, trying to find clues to illnesses like schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. At the time, neurologists were looking to find physical damage or abnormalities in brains of mentally ill patients to explain their conditions. But to Freeman's growing frustration, no matter how carefully he studied and took pictures of the brain, he couldn't find any consistent physical problems to explain mental illness.
So if I sliced open your bipolar brain, I wouldn't see any differences between anybody else?
Nope.
I could see how that could drive a scientist crazy, yeah.
And they're all just staring at it like...
Got to be something here.
You can't figure it out, though.
Frustrating. I get it.
Angie and I stopped off at that place in Indiana on our way home from our Indy weekend. Can't remember the name of it, but it was a place like this.
Oh, the museum.
Yeah, it had
we
all
were
kind of...
supposed to go to, and it closed or something the day we were all there.
Remember?
Was it the mid, like it was like a medieval doctor museum or something like that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they had an operating room like this where people could sit around and watch, but in one of the rooms they had brains like this from people that had been, tested on after they died in asylums. It's kind of creepy. Actually, super creepy.
Was it the Medical History Museum?
Yeah.
The Indiana Medical History Museum.
That place was cool.
That is not a place I would want to go. No, thank you.
It was neat. Seeing all that stuff.
No, thanks. I will go to the bar instead. You can call me when you're done.
I think that's what we ended up doing. We missed our window to go.
Do you get samples?
Like, was I getting samples of the brains?
Brain slices to take with you or anything fun? No.
That reminds me of, is it Temple of Doom? When they're eating dinner in the palace and they serve the monkey brain. And it just looks like Jell-O. They didn't maybe have the budget to make it look different.
That reminds me of Faces of Death.
Yeah, I was going to say Faces of Death at least look legitimate, right?
I don't know that.
Was that the one real part of Faces of Death?
Yeah, I think so.
Killing the monkeys?
You never seen Faces of Death?
What?
You should watch that. It's like a
I don't think
classic
I've ever
horror
even
movie.
heard of it.
What year did that come out? Was that late 70s or is that 80s?
Like 83?
And they actually
guess?
eat monkey brains?
So it was all, there's a video that the guys that made it did later on showing like how they faked everything and just kind of laughing about it. But maybe I'm misremembering, but I want to say like that was the one legitimate thing they did for real.
Because it was in a restaurant though. It was like a cultural type thing.
That might have been fake too. I don't remember, but
They put this
looked
monkey
real,
in the middle of the table and
just cracked his head open. Yeah.
just killed him right there.
All right.
But the rest of
Temple of Doom was not like that.
The rest of it was all fake though. But back then, it was purported to be real.
All right.
I remember watching it when I was little, like getting my hands on it finally, being all creeped out.
I regret
Faces
bringing
of
up
Death.
movies.
We're gonna pin your eyes back and make you watch it now. How about that?
I can't really remember any of the other stuff. Like, I think there's a car accident one, right? Or something.
It's
that's
not
fake.
great.
No.
Yeah. All the snuff movies in my personal collection are way better than that.
That's the sentence.
So being frustrated looking at these patients' brains and not really being able to figure out what set them apart from somebody that didn't have schizophrenia made Freeman more determined. If traditional methods couldn't give him the answers, maybe it was time to try something new. Pretty early on, Freeman's notes and diaries show that he was thinking about bold ideas. If a tumor pressing on a brain could change someone's personality or behavior, why couldn't a targeted surgery fix harmful pathways in the brain? Then in the mid-1930s, he found his answer in the work of Antonio Moniz, a Portuguese neurologist. The book that talked about Moniz was extremely obscure and kind of a chance thing that Freeman picked it up. And it's just weird how history, like how things like that play out.
Yes, it is. Very random. Everything's just chaos. Everything's random.
There's a guy, I wish I could remember his name. He wrote a book about this, but he also was a big part of the PBS American Experience episode on this. And the way he described it was that Freeman is just like at his end with it and just randomly grabbed this book and found this. Like complete chance that he found this book. And it's not even really it wasn't by Moniz. It just referenced Moniz's work in the book as he was flipping through it.
Just that spark, huh?
Yeah. From ancient times to the early 20th century, treating severe mental illness was kind of a mix of hopeful experiments and desperate decisions. In ancient societies, people believed that mental illness was caused by supernatural forces like demonic possession, angry gods. So to fix this, a lot of times they used trepanation, drilling the hole in the top of a skull to release evil spirits. Talked all about that back in the day with trepaculation.
We did a whole show on trepanation, no?
Yeah.
It was that guy, that Rock Terrio, right? That was the trepanation stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Urban Dictionary, trepaculation.
Trepaculation
Google
is
it.
now on Urban Dictionary.
You have a little treat.
You can get yourself
store
a
for you.
coffee mug with that. That's a shoot.
No money comes back to Mike Nowapod, though, unfortunately.
I'm even referenced on the site for that word.
Trepaculation was what? Drilling the hole and then ejaculating into the hole, right? In someone's head.
Yeah.
That is what Rock Terrio did.
Yeah.
He did that.
The Anthill Kids? Is that what that group was?
That's early necro.
That's vintage.
Yeah. That's shitty microphone necro.
We haven't spawned an Urban Dictionary term since, though.
It's true.
That's like a lightning in the bottle kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like we've had to have had something. I think it's just our listeners are slacking and not giving us the credit on those websites.
It's interesting, the trepanation being used for mental illness, that like thousands and thousands of years ago, we already had the idea that, you know, altering the brain could treat mental illness to some degree. By the medieval and early modern periods, mental illness was often handled in asylums. However, these places focused more on controlling patients than helping them. Famous asylums like Bethlehem Hospital in London were infamous for bad conditions, with patients kept in chains or locked in dungeon-like rooms. In the late 18th and 19th centuries, reformers from France and the U.S. fought for better treatment. One of the big ones was unchaining patients, which absolutely needed to happen, but still, real medical breakthroughs were rare, and many people with severe mental illness stayed in asylums for life.
Man, when you just envision that, that's just brutal.
So you know what
Being chained up all day like that.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I watched a documentary today. I've seen it before, but I went back and watched it today. It's called Titty Cut Follies.
Titty cut?
Or Folly. Follies or Follies?
Titty cut? Let's address that first.
Yeah, all right. I don't want to be a hillbilly and say the name
Titty Cut Follies?
Yeah, Follies. So Titty Cut is, I got the Wikipedia thing here. It is the Wampanoag Native American tribe. It's their, that's the word for the Taunton River.
Okay.
Up in Massachusetts. So Titty Cut Follies was a documentary in the 60s where a guy went into Bridgewater, Massachusetts State Hospital for the criminally insane and filmed in there. And then in, what did it say, he did it in 1967, 1968. It was going to be released, and then there was like a whole court battle over it because it's like really hard to watch, the conditions and stuff. And it's called Titty Cut Follies because that's the talent show that was going on in the hospital at the time. It's really fucking unsettling. Wow. Like the whole thing is creepy. But yeah, it's worth watching if people want to check it out. But it was like 30 years. It didn't, it wasn't available for the public until 1991.
Wow.
It took a long time. And that
Because of the legal stuff.
Yeah. And so it always comes up on, like, if you type in, like, you want to watch unsettling stuff or whatever, it's always like one of the top ones on those lists.
I do that every day when I wake up. I Google, let's watch something. Siri, pull something unsettling up to start my day.
Put you in just a good mood and the right mindset.
Cup of coffee and something unsettling, please.
Tackle your day.
When you guys say stuff like that, though, I'm like, maybe I do live a weird life.
It takes them a second to realize we're being sarcastic. Like, well, yes, I fucking do that every day.
Oh, you guys too? That's great, right? I don't even like looking at my phone for like the first half hour or hour I'm awake, because just the slightest thing will just put me in an anxious state for the rest of the day. I just have to just put it away, and like once I'm up and like got some things accomplished, so now it's like, all right, let's open the phone and see what's going on out there.
I do Wordle when I get up. My coffee. I do the New York Times mini crossword real quick.
So you're challenging your mind right out of the gate.
Then I'll start on the regular crossword, and depending on what day of the week it is, we'll make some good progress or we'll make no progress and come back to it later.
Yeah. I like to get a few tasks accomplished just to feel like I've done something.
Sure.
Before I have, the overwhelming sense of anxiety and dread and like I'm drowning in a river of life.
That is not great, pal.
It's my cross to bear. They wanted to give me a lobotomy, but I said, I'll deal with it. You got any Percocet, some Xanax, bottle of Crown Royal?
Some scissor, maybe?
I'll make it work.
Glass of lean, please. That's how I'd like to start my day.
What do we always say? 2 Percocet and a glass of red wine?
That's right.
So I'll start my fucking day.
Honest to God, I would start that day every day if I could.
You just
that sounds
start and
fucking great.
Start and then go right back to bed.
Doesn't sound like the worst thing in the world.
It's like 7:30. Like, it's about nap time, isn't it?
It's been a day. Sir, you got up at 6:30. I put in a good 54 minutes.
I've also been walking for an hour on a treadmill every morning.
There you go.
Just reading, I'm trying to get my 10,000 steps in religiously every day now.
That's good.
Yeah. I like reading on the treadmill.
I do that sometimes.
That's cool.
Passes the time.
You got to do
I like
something
it.
while you're just walking.
Yeah.
So read, catch up on shit.
It's got to be more fluff books, though. I have a hard time concentrating on anything, I don't know, intricate or complicated, but just
Makes sense.
fluff books. It's great.
Hey, reading is
Like,
reading.
an hour went by already. It's great.
Doesn't matter if it's smut and you're still reading.
Sure. Then you're trying to crank one out while you're walking, and it
You
gets
get
kind of
a
difficult.
walking boner. Well, the red wine and Percocet will kill that. You ain't getting any boners then.
If anybody does go check out that Titty Cut Follies, just beware. There's dead people in it. There's very graphic stuff in that documentary. So viewer beware. Well, it doesn't warn you. It's from the 60s.
Yeah, it sounds horrible,
67.
sure.
So
They don't give a fuck. They're just like, here it is.
yeah. During the late 19th century, the study of the brain began to grow. Scientists like Jean-Martin Charcot in France and his student Sigmund Freud looked into how the brain might be linked to conditions like hysteria and epilepsy. Labs across Europe started mapping brain functions and studying how different parts of the brain controlled things like movement or language.
Freud did a lot of cocaine, correct?
Did he?
I think so. I'm just spotting off the top of my head, but I believe so.
Just slandering Sigmund Freud.
It's the whole everyone's in love with their mother and wants to murder their father stuff, right? Isn't that Freud?
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about that genre, but that sounds about right. If not, we just buried Sigmund Freud. But
Yeah. I'm wrong. I'm just talking off the top of my head. Not always right.
He's the evolution guy, right? Did he?
That's Darwin.
Darwin, yeah. All right.
Freud's the id and the ego and the superego and all that. In love with your mom. Oedipus complex. I was in love with your mom. You want to kill your father.
And like girls want to marry their dads and shit. Is that the same thing?
I'm not sure. I'm not even sure I'm right.
sounds like a terrible porno.
A major turning point came in the late 19th century with Gottlieb Burckhardt, a Swiss psychiatrist who in the 1880s carried out what many see as the first attempt at a modern brain surgery for mental illness.
Gottlieb Burckhardt, cool name, Mike. It's a pretty good name.
You got to be a smart guy with
Exactly.
that. Like if you're dumb, you've ruined that name.
Yeah.
If you're smart, that's a perfect name.
I'd like to introduce you to our new janitor, Gottlieb Burckhardt.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
You sure you're the janitor? Because you sound like a neurosurgeon or a brain scientist.
Nobel Prize winning at
That's
Gottlieb
right. That's
Burckhardt. Like that's how it's supposed to go.
He's like, nah, I'm just sweeping the floors.
you
I'm Gottlieb. Call me Gott.
If you name your kid that, you set the bar real
That's exactly
fucking
right.
high.
That's right.
Burckhardt operated on 6 patients with chronic mental health problems, removing parts of their brain to try and reduce their symptoms. The results were mixed. Some patients became calmer, but one died shortly after the surgery, and others had seizures or were left with serious brain damage. Most of the medical community were outraged. Facing heavy criticism, Burckhardt stopped his work, and the idea of brain surgery for mental illness went away for a long time.
He went back to being a janitor after that. He's like, I'm not sure you were ready for this post yet. Why don't you sweep these floors, Burckhardt? We'll get back to you. And times changed and the public perception is a little different.
By the early 20th century, doctors were under pressure to manage the growing number of patients in state-run asylums. There were no effective medicines to treat severe mental illness, so doctors began trying extreme methods. This led to a series of treatments in Europe known as heroic therapies. Around 1917, Julius Wagner Jureg introduced malarial therapy, infecting patients with malaria to cause fevers that sometimes improve symptoms of syphilis-related mental illnesses, but it killed a lot of people. I mean, like, it's not a good idea.
Look, you had sex with a lot of prostitutes and you've got advanced syphilis. Mm-hmm. We're going to put all these mosquitoes in your bed tonight and we're going to give you some malaria. Yeah. And it might work, but it might not.
We might not see you again.
Cross your fingers.
These experimental methods paved the way for shock-based treatments in the 1930s, including insulin coma therapy and later electroconvulsive therapy. The idea was pretty simple: shock the brain in such an extreme way that its disordered pathways might reset. Sometimes patients showed brief moments of calm or clarity, but the treatments caused intense pain or a lot of serious health risks, especially the insulin thing. That is so fucking crazy. I saw a video of that happening to somebody. They drop, like, what I watched was raw insulin, like just a drop into this guy's eye, and it immediately made him go into like a shock and just like curl up into a ball.
Fuck that.
That's just somebody sitting up drinking late at night coming up with ideas.
Of a way to...
They're not really grounded in any science, right?
The electroshock therapy, like you see it back in the day, and it's terrifying looking because it's like you're really just shocking someone's brain into making them have a seizure. It's still offered today. I was offered it by one of my doctors, but it's very scary.
It seems scary.
But
it works, right? For some people.
It does. It has a high success rate for people with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. It's like an 80% improvement, but it has a lot of memory loss issues with it. And
really?
Yeah. And I'm better off losing my memory from weed, I think. Like, I'm happier doing that. But it's like 2 or 3 times a week, and you have to do general anesthesia every time.
Oh, so are you mostly unaware?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like nowadays, it's very safe and like in a controlled thing. It's just a lot to do it.
I mean, it just reminds you sticking a fork in your outlet, right? It doesn't feel good.
No.
That hurts like a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
I've never stuck a
I mean,
fork in an outlet.
You know what I mean. Getting shocked.
When you said that, I was like... You going around sticking forks?
But just getting...
That's something you do.
Just getting shocked on a 110 line hurts, man.
It does hurt. It's a different, like getting a shock.
Yeah.
Just even the smallest one is a different kind of pain. Yeah. You feel all like your muscles tighten up. And
it creeps you out. It's just a weird thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought my doctor was fucking with me when she brought that up the one time. I'm like, are you serious?
You ever thought about just trying it once?
No,
Seems
I never.
Scary.
It is
scary.
Yeah, I don't like all that, like the anesthesia and stuff.
Yeah,
that's 2 or 3 times a week that's a lot.
I don't think I would be able to do that either.
No, I'm cool with my medicine.
Especially if you found something that's working.
Yeah, like this mix works right now. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't fucking change it.
In the middle of new treatments and growing pressure on institutions, Portuguese neurologist Antonio Moniz came along. Born in 1874, Moniz was already known for creating cerebral angiography, a method of injecting dye into brain blood vessels to find tumors. By the early 1930s, Moniz became focused on the idea that mental illness could be treated by disrupting connections in the brain's frontal lobes.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that when I was talking about this not being so black and white, it's like the conditions are horrible in asylums, but these aren't like monsters, like Nazi scientists looking to just like do crazy mad experiments.
Yeah,
like they're genuinely trying to help, and there's nothing, there's no medication, there's, it's the Wild West of trying to figure this out.
It's that status quo of being chained up for your life or trying new things and hopefully coming up with something that works.
Moniz was inspired by two key ideas: the belief that behaviors come from a network of connected brain cells, and animal studies from back then suggesting that damaging the frontal lobes might reduce aggression and or excitement, aka experiments on monkeys and stuff like that. In 1935, at Lisbon's hospital in De Santa Marta, Moniz oversaw the first procedure he called a leucotomy, performed by surgeon Pedro Almeida Lima. The procedure involved drilling holes into the skull and injecting alcohol into the frontal lobes to break those pathways. God. The pictures from back then for these kind of things are crazy too. Like all the doctors standing around in like those kind of vaulted seats looking down.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
When I was just looking at the pictures of that Indiana Medical Museum you went to, they have that.
Yeah.
Like the stadium seating kind of, where everyone just like looks down over the patient. And
I think that's the room where they pulled out all the brain slides and stuff.
I got to do that one time. Like at a medical school, I was like visiting, and they were doing it down there. I got to sit up in like in those stadium seats, but I was trying to eat a junior mint, and I dropped it down, and it went in.
You're not getting me on that.
it's Seinfeld is what he's referencing on that one. Kramer.
I knew
he's
it was
trying
something
to
like
offer
that.
Jerry a junior mint. He's like, come on, they're minty, they're refreshing, they're delicious. And Jerry like pushes his hand away, and it goes up and lands on the guy. And then he survives though because of it, right? Because isn't that the guy that George bought art from, thinking the guy was going to die? And then the junior mint goes in him, and it like he was healed, and because the doctor's like, it must have been something from above. Right. And the junior mint
just
came
sewed it up, and he didn't see the junior mint.
And then
going
George is pissed because he's out like $200 on art that's not even good. He thought he was going to die, and the art value would go up. All right, you can get us on Footloose. You can't get us on Seinfeld.
That Footloose one is absurd that we didn't pick up on that.
That is not a movie I would have ever thought to have watched.
I know.
I mean, when he was telling it, I was like, there's no way this is fucking true. But I didn't know it was from a movie. I just thought he was...
Footloose is such a great movie. The fact you guys have never seen Footloose is just fucking ridiculous.
Does it really surprise you for me?
No, but it's still ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. The results from this were published in March of 1936, and Moniz reported 7, quote, cures and 7, quote, improvements in 6 patients with no change out of 20 cases. Critics noted that his follow-ups were brief and the side effects were really bad, including apathy, incontinence, memory problems, and in some of those cases, death.
Oh, death. Was that all?
Yeah, he's like checking up on him like 24, 48 hours later, like, oh, you good? All right.
Jeez.
Like some of these people died within a week and stuff.
Like on his little clipboard, he didn't even have death written out for like to check. So like he had like, oh, getting better or apathy or incontinence. He had to write death and then put like a check mark next to that one. Oh, I hadn't considered that.
Patient's like, who are you again? As they're pissing all over themselves, and then they die in front of them.
Did any of these people ever, not that it's okay or that it's better, but it's the way science is, did any of them ever test this on like animals first? Like, did they ever try lobotomies on like lab rats? Or on lab monkeys? Like, you know, I know that's a thing. I'm not saying it's okay, but did they ever try any of that? Or was it straight to like, we're going to test this on people?
They got the idea from the frontal lobe being like, if you hurt the front of your head, like it fucking up your behavior from monkeys. Like Moniz was doing stuff with monkeys. Yeah.
So they were testing at least with monkeys. And I guess that makes sense if their brains are similar. Not all animals' brains are going to be the same as ours, obviously. Yeah,
like Moniz he had his ideas. He wasn't abusing anything or, you know, like just jumping right into stuff.
So did he see results in monkeys? Do we even know? Or
all I read was that he figured out, or other scientists, him included, had figured out that through monkeys that the frontal lobe, damage to the frontal lobe will change behavior.
Okay.
And I'm sure it's really a sliding scale of what constitutes success, right? Like there's an acceptable number of people that would die that you can still say, well, we have, sure, 2 people died, but we helped this many people and it did this. And
It's the same for medications.
absolutely.
Nowadays,
Every medication you might take might erupt the perineum and you can bleed out sitting on your couch. And if you don't know when you watch the commercial, the perineum is the skin between your genitals and your anus. It's literally every medicine on the...
What do they say? Bleeding in your perineum?
There's something about your perineum, and and then the small print at the bottom is perineum is the skin between your genitals and your anus. Your taint.
Yeah, I got it. I don't think I've ever paid attention closely enough to those commercials to notice that.
they list off a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They say a lot
Sudden
of stuff.
death. Don't be scared, though. Take it anyway.
If I'm watching anything that has commercials, which is rare because we're always streaming shit, if there's a commercial, I'm on my phone. Like I'm just trying to tune that shit out.
But the amount of commercials for products like this, for new medicines and new things like this,
If it's not that, it's auto insurance. That's all the fucking commercials you see.
It's crazy, but just encouraging you to go talk to your doctor about the like. I always want to say, like, if it's good, if I need this, won't my doctor tell me about it? Why am I going to tell him about it? I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm watching a fucking commercial.
Settle down, Carl Monday.
You're like, I'm watching a Big Bang Theory and this fucking new medicine comes on. Should I be taking this, doctor? Like, why isn't the doctor telling me I need this? Everything's backwards now. Like, it's crazy.
You're right.
I don't know why they promote any of those medications on TV either, because it's not like anybody can afford them. Like, if you go to your doctor,
that's another thing.
If you go to your doctor for a new medication, like, chances are your insurance are going to tell you to fuck yourself. You're not getting it.
Well,
I think
that's also true.
Cool Down Media might need a new ad for the Cool Down Media Pharmacy. No matter your condition, Percocet and red wine. You'll be fine.
Do your mornings suck? Have you ever tried 2 Percocets and a glass of Cabernet?
I reminded myself by mentioning Mr. Monday. It popped up on Instagram today for me. Oh, this was a bad look for Cleveland. When, in trying to get LeBron to stay, all those Cleveland celebrities did a version of We Are the World and sang it, and Carl Monday's in it.
I didn't even know that this existed.
It is so bad. I'm sure people can YouTube it, find it, but Cleveland, like, news people, the mayor of Cleveland, fucking Ted, who was the governor? Strickland. Ted Strickland is in it.
This
singing.
was the first time he left, right?
The first time when he went to Miami.
Taking his talents to South Beach.
Yeah, but at the time, the clip I saw, it wasn't the whole song. They're singing about how bad New York sucks, so we must have thought he was going to the Knicks.
Yeah.
But it's, just like radio personalities, the fucking mayor of Cleveland, the governor of Ohio, Carl Monday, really a who's who of Ohio. And they're all singing a We Are the World version of why LeBron needs to stay.
Fucking cringe.
And the fact that he ends up leaving makes it even worse.
I did not remember that.
But do you remember it now?
Atrocious. Yes.
Yeah,
100%.
Ian, don't watch it.
Carl Monday's
Don't
like,
watch
if
it.
you go to Miami, I'll be down there investigating all the pussy you're trying to get down there in South Beach.
That would have been better than this song.
You might wake up with me under your bed with a microphone and a camera, LeBron.
I'm pretty sure if our listeners out there just like YouTubed or Googled We Are the World Cleveland LeBron, it's going to come up.
God.
You'll see Carl Monday because I think he was in his trench coat. He might have just been in a suit.
God.
He might have been in a suit. I don't know. But it's like 50 Cleveland like celebrities in quotes.
Horrible.
Air quotes. But like, oh man. That was bad luck.
Jeez.
You get the governor of Ohio to participate in that.
Yeah, it's something you want to be deleted from the internet forever.
Good luck with that.
I remember watching that announcement live, like everyone in the neighborhood was hanging out, and our friend who likes the bushy pubes, it's like, he's not going anywhere. I go, you're out of your fucking mind. He 100% is gone. And he was shocked when he announced it. I'm like, I fucking told you, man. You're nuts. He wasn't staying.
They did The Decision, right?
Yeah.
ESPN did a whole
It was a whole
1 hour
thing.
build up.
Yeah. I'm taking my talents to South Beach. Okay, LeBron.
I was working at the Cleveland Browns facility while that was happening. I was not asked to be a part of We Are the World.
You weren't.
Was not asked.
Sad day in Cleveland. Not as sad as when they filmed that fucking World song.
Can you imagine if it happened again and we were asked to Necronomapod?
We are the world.
I would be like, I would say, if Carl Monday's there, I'm there. Put me right next to him.
We lock arms with Carl swaying back and forth. We are the children.
That's a win. That's a win. No, it would be us singing for him to come out of retirement, Carl Monday. The song would be for him.
Draw him back.
Yeah.
Come on, Carl. We're the children.
We are the children. You're only 93. We need you back.
You're not dead yet, Carl. What about the children? We are the children.
So go watch that video, I guess. It's terrible.
Children, Carl. Come on. Oh, goodness.
Thought you had a clip there, pal.
No, I don't know.
You started scrolling like you had a clip.
You don't need to see my wiener. There is no reason for you to see my wiener.
That's true, Michael.
Yeah. You're all right with that one.
Whew, that was way off track.
That was a
Let's go fucking lobotomize people now.
Some might argue we've been lobotomized.
So Moniz, he did his leucotomy, and it didn't have a great success rate. He says he called them cures, but you sure about that?
Yeah, you sure about that?
But people were desperate to treat severely mentally ill patients, and procedures like the leucotomy were being tried in Italy, Romania, and then eventually the United States. Moniz eventually replaced the alcohol injection with a tool he called a leucotome, designed to remove small pieces of brain tissue from the frontal lobes. He believed that disrupting these, he called them, quote, fixed pathways or problem circuits could help ease the patient's disordered thinking, giving them a chance at some level of normal life. By today's standards, this idea is insane, but it seemed to work in some cases. Patients who had been out of control became quieter, easier to manage, and sometimes, and I wrote sometimes in caps,
Sometimes.
Yeah, people were allowed to leave the hospital. They were well enough to go home. The procedure gained popularity in Italy. Meanwhile, the Soviet Union condemned it, calling it immoral, and doctors saying that they were turning their patients into, quote, idiots instead of curing them. It's a really crude way of saying it, but that is accurate.
It's not I had it in my notes, not the most PC way to say something, but they're not wrong.
Yeah, you're
Right.
A lot of times people come back just very childlike. It just,
Yeah.
they have to be taught how to use the bathroom again. We'll talk about all that kind of stuff, but
I guess it's a sliding scale when you had someone maybe with schizophrenia at home going crazy all the time, attacking people, and they send them back and they're just calm and demure and, okay, I have to teach them how to go to the bathroom again, but this is 100 times better than it used to be, right?
that's why I said I was really surprised with this episode about how not black and white it is, because
Yeah,
I watched an interview with a lady that her mom was diagnosed with schizophrenia way back, back in these days. And, they sat the family and she talked about how she got out of control and was trying to hurt the kids. And it just was it got insane. And they sat the family down with Dr. Freeman, who we're talking about tonight. And he said, went through the whole lobotomy thing. And she said that her mom was away for a little while, came back, and she was completely calm. And yeah, it's strict. And then you get into the conversation like they did in the PBS thing about what makes us human and
Sure.
things like that. But
It's not a simple thing.
it's really not for some of those cases, because she felt that she had her mom back. Like, I can actually be around my mom now, and she's not going to try and kill me. Like,
Right.
that was her mom was trying to like do some crazy religious shit.
It's not the same mom per se, but it's a
Right.
version of your mom that.
If that's how you look at it, yeah, your mom's there. You're safe. She's not violent,
Right.
attacking you.
Is it the best?
You're not going to have conversations that are going to be so
Right.
deep and loving, and it's almost just like taking your soul out of a person.
That doesn't speak to her mom's existence or what she's feeling, but it's,
Right.
it's looking at it from a different angle.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's tough.
So back to Dr. Freeman. In 1935, Freeman went to a major neurology conference where Moniz shared his findings. It's not clear if they met in person, but they exchanged letters and ideas afterwards. Freeman's personal diaries from this time border on joy as to how excited he was to be in direct contact with Moniz.
Fanboy.
Yeah, big time. There was one big problem that Freeman had. He wasn't a surgeon. He could talk about the brain
What?
and how it worked, but drilling into a patient's skull was way beyond his abilities, so he looked for a partner. And that's when he found James Winston Watts, a neurosurgeon trained at the University of Virginia. They made a good team. Freeman was the big picture guy with the charisma, while Watts was the precise surgeon, could handle all the detailed work, and gave it credibility. The two studied Moniz's published work and decided to abandon Moniz's original method of injecting alcohol into the brain. Instead, they worked on a more direct way to cut the white matter connections in the frontal lobes. By late 1936, Freeman and Watts were ready to test their ideas. At George Washington University Hospital, they prepared for what would become the first lobotomy ever performed in the United States. On September 14th, 1936, at George Washington University Hospital, a middle-aged housewife named Alice Hood Hammett, who had struggled for years with anxiety, insomnia, and other symptoms that were described as, quote, nervous excitement, was first to be lobotomized. After many hospital stays with no success with regular treatments, she was seen as the perfect candidate.
She doesn't seem like a perfect candidate to me.
She doesn't. So there's a whole other twist to the whole lobotomy thing about the percentages of men and women that were lobotomized, and women were way up. And a lot of that, there's like this whole thing of women are viewed as emotional and things, and that depression is seen as like, well, go get a lobotomy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's a very
There's
kinda
so
dark.
much wrong with all this.
But then there were some ads I saw, like old ads that promoted lobotomies as like not like a vanity thing, but kind of like a vanity thing, like a housewife. Are you bored with your life? Do you want some, relax? Like you can get a lobotomy and you'll feel a lot better about your life.
Jesus.
I don't know. Maybe it's not that bad. You're just kind of peaceful, sitting around, staring at the wall. I don't know.
You mean the lobotomy?
Yeah. Like, all right, knock out my frontal lobe, man.
As long as you got somebody to take care of you and they don't just throw you in a fucking room.
That's true. If they don't institutionalize you.
Like all this anxiety, I really don't want to think about stuff anymore. I don't really want to do anything but sit on my couch and look out the window. Lobotomize me.
You might need to change my diaper. But
In a small operating room, Watts drilled holes on both sides of Alice's skull and inserted a slim tool. With Freeman's guidance, Watts cut or disrupted, however you want to say it, the nerve connections to the frontal lobes. After the procedure, Alice seemed calmer and less upset. However, she dealt with confusion, tiredness, and at times really childlike behavior. For Freeman, the noticeable drop in her long-term anxiety was enough for him to call the operation a success. I don't think success is the right word for it.
Well, great success.
he's like, well, she's not anxious.
She's drooling on herself all day and doesn't know what her name is, but she's not anxious.
There's an 18-minute video on YouTube that's a silent film, like an educational one, and it doesn't. I was scared to watch it at first, but it doesn't actually show any lobotomies being carried out. It's more of a like, here's this person and here's their behavior before, and it's showing somebody that's just really uncontrollable and stuff. And they're like, it explains the lobotomy, and then it shows them afterwards and like a follow up. And yeah, they're calm, but they're not.
Yeah,
they're.
People in a coma are calm too.
Yeah, so I mean, like they're clearly like very childlike. That they're giving this woman a stuffed animal and stuff, and it's like the competence, I guess, of like a 4-year-old or something.
Such a weird chapter in American history.
Yeah.
It is fucking weird. Did the American Experience? I've seen actual lobotomies before. Did the American Experience show actual lobotomies?
I think they just showed some clips.
I remember seeing black and white videos of them actually doing it, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah, they
I don't
exist.
know.
Yeah.
Just that sound. Ugh.
And I think like what Ian said, though, this started from a place of wanting to help and make a difference.
Yeah.
They just kind of found themselves down a path they probably should have cut themselves off from earlier, right?
Yeah. It's going to start getting a lot weirder here in a couple more paragraphs.
Yeah.
At this point, Freeman said that lobotomies were only for the most desperate cases, patients who had been in institutions for years with no hope of recovery. But over time, more families with less severe cases began asking about the procedure. And slowly, the line between last resort and maybe this could help get rid of some anxiety started to be a little blurry.
Like, Dr. Freeman, my wife is not very anxious to give blowjobs any longer. Do we think knocking out her frontal lobes would make her more excited for giving Hummers? What do you think?
He's like, sure, absolutely.
Isn't that crazy? Like that conversation more or less happened a lot of times with this. Like,
Yeah.
essentially, like, my wife's a bitch.
Yes, that's an exaggerated version of the conversation that actually took place. Like 100%.
I feel like Freeman's having those conversations, and then when he explains it to Watts is like, we're going to do what now? wait, what?
Yeah, right. Yeah, she's hysterical.
What does that mean?
Meaning I said something to her and she didn't like it, and she yelled at me. She's hysterical. She didn't have dinner ready when I got home last night. She's hysterical. She needs to be subdued and controlled. Let's lobotomize her. This whole thing is fucking absurd.
It's going to get worse before it gets better in these notes.
Oh, I know.
By 1937 and 1938, Freeman and Watts were pushing hard to standardize their lobotomy procedure, but it's still new. There's not like long-term examples of what someone would look like in 30 years. They were tracking short-term results, looking for patterns in who got better and who didn't, just in like quick recovery. But it could take weeks or months recovering from this, with patients needing to relearn the basics: walking, talking, going to the bathroom. Some developed problems like seizures, permanent incontinence, or a lot of them extreme tiredness. Also, weight gain was crazy.
Really? Watching
the video of the history or the educational one from the Pennsylvania hospital, the one woman, it said that she gained 100 pounds and she looks like a different person. And because with some people, when they do a lobotomy, they lose like impulse control for eating food. Like they have no, like, I just want that, I'm going to keep eating.
When you probably just sit around all day doing nothing, staring out the wall too.
Yeah.
You lose any desire to do anything. Ugh,
Eating
awful.
gives you the only sense of happiness, feeling something.
Gotta do something while you're just staring at the wall all day, right?
Guess so.
From time to time, they would find a patient that surprised them by showing like it worked, I guess. But the definition of success it's pretty loose in this story.
Clearly.
Yeah.
And around this time, Freeman and Watts get a very high profile case handed to them. Their services were requested.
Hello, Freeman and Watts.
So I've always thought about the idea of doing a show on Rosemary Kennedy, but I feel like a lot of the show would have been talking about like just lobotomies in general. And so, Ian, you came up with the idea of why don't we do a lobotomy show and we'll throw in Rosemary's story. So I'm going to take it over here for just a little while, and we'll dive into the story of Rosemary Kennedy and how lobotomy affected her life. So give a brief bio of what occurred with her. Rosemary Kennedy, born Rosemary Kennedy on September 13th, 1918, was the third child and eldest daughter of Joseph and Rose Kennedy. During her birth, the physician who was supposed to be delivering her was running late due to an outbreak of the Spanish influenza. Not wanting to deliver the baby without a doctor present, the attending nurse reached up into Rose's birth canal and held the baby in place while telling Rose to try to keep her legs closed together. The actions of this nurse would have serious consequences for baby Rosemary. The lack of oxygen delivered to her brain during her birth caused lasting damage to her brain, resulting in a mental deficiency.
That's just the randomness of things.
Yeah.
It's just affected her whole life.
And again, like a nurse thinking she's helping, but really
right.
you're just, this baby is not getting oxygen.
And these are some of the richest people in the country. And this is the level of care they got, right?
Yeah. Joseph Kennedy was one of, if not the richest man in the country. Yeah. As Rosemary grew up, she was slower to crawl, slower to walk, and slower to speak than her older brothers, and she experienced learning difficulties when she reached school age. Despite these apparent intellectual disabilities, Rosemary participated in most family activities. In the 1920s, kind of like what we discussed already, mental deficiencies were highly stigmatized. Fearing repercussions if her daughter couldn't keep up, Rose Kennedy pulled Rosemary out of school and instead hired a tutor to educate her from home. Eventually, she sent her to a boarding school in Pennsylvania, and this was instead of having her institutionalized, kind of like what we talked about.
Eric, where's my sister? I have not seen her lately. Did you send her away?
Could be an actual quote. In the diary she kept as a teenager, Rosemary described people she met, dances and concerts she attended, and a visit to the Roosevelt White House. She was very outgoing. She was charming. She loved the social life. She loved to flirt and talk with boys. Was slower on like the learning scale and kind of adjusting to things, but was a very friendly, bubbly personality. So, you know, she enjoyed being out and about and being with her siblings, going to dances and, again, talking to boys and all that stuff. When her father, Joe Kennedy, was appointed U.S. ambassador to Britain in 1938, Rosemary went to live in London and for the first time began to show some progress. At this time, her mother described her as, quote, an affectionate, warmly responsive, and loving girl. She was willing to try to do her best, so appreciative of attention and compliments, and so hopeful of deserving them, end quote. Of course, throughout all of this, most people didn't know the extent of Rosemary's personal troubles, as the Kennedys had worked hard to keep it all quiet. In England, Rosemary actually gained a sense of normalcy, as she had been placed in a Catholic school run by nuns. With the time and patience to teach Rosemary, they were training her to be a teacher's aide, and she began flourishing under their guidance. However, when the family returned to the United States in 1940, Rosemary's progress slowed and her abilities seemed to be regressing. Now, at age 22, she was becoming increasingly irritable and difficult. She would often have convulsions and would fly into violent rages, during which she would hit and injure others. At the same time, she was also reportedly causing trouble for the nuns in the convent where she was now residing in Washington, D.C. According to them, Rosemary was sneaking out at night to go to bars and meeting strange men. They told her parents that they worried she would catch a venereal disease or become pregnant. Around the same time, Joe Kennedy was grooming his two oldest boys for careers in politics. This is his oldest son, Joe Jr., and his second oldest child, JFK. Joe Jr. would go on to die during World War II, and
Yeah, like he
JFK.
was supposed to be the president. And,
He was supposed to be.
until he got shot down, right?
Yeah. He was, Joe Kennedy Sr. played favorites very much so, and kind of said, like, Joe and JFK are mine. All the women and Bobby Kennedy, Rose, those are yours. You can have them. I'm going to make these two men, my guys. And Joe was killed in World War II. And
Joe was a bit of a Nazi apologist prior to the war, correct? When he was the ambassador?
it's why he got fired as the ambassador by Roosevelt. Joe Kennedy saw what England was getting into the war, saw what was happening in Europe, and had told himself, I'm going to keep Roosevelt and America out of the war. It's going to make me a hero, and I'm going to be the next president of the United States.
There you go.
He and Roosevelt were not on the same page. Roosevelt was spoiling for a fight and wanted in the war. So they he fired Joe Kennedy. And then that's when Joe was like, all right, well, now one of my boys, like, we're going to run this country one fucking way or another.
Yeah. Eric, we're the chosen ones.
And then now
Can't
Rosemary,
stop us, you cripple FDR.
now Rosemary comes along and he's like, well, this doesn't fucking help.
Yeah. Weird time. All about image.
It's exactly what it was. And he would go spare no expense to make any problem go away, which, we'll do an election of 1960 show someday.
Meanwhile, the president's in a fucking wheelchair, and
Yeah.
there's no problem. Everyone hid it from the public.
It's very true. That's a good point. So because Joe was kind of grooming his older sons to, for politics, Rose and Joe worried that Rosemary's behavior would create a bad reputation for the entire family, and eagerly were searching for something that would help her. And that's when Joe Kennedy discovered Dr. Watts and Dr. Freeman. He met with them, and I'm assuming it was Freeman, being that he was the charismatic kind of spokesman.
Yeah.
Told Joe that a lobotomy would help calm her mood swings and stop her occasional violent outbursts. Joe needed little convincing. To him, it seemed like this was the Kennedy family's last hope for Rosemary to be, quote, cured of erratic behaviors and obvious disabilities. So fast forwarding really quickly, years later, Rose Kennedy would claim that she had no knowledge of this procedure until it had already happened.
Man.
And obviously, no one had thought to ask Rosemary if she had any thoughts on what was about to happen to her.
That is fucking crazy. We're going to talk about something like that later too. Like, I don't know, that's just like a whole thing stripped from a mom being able to make a decision and something like that, from Rosemary, it's crazy.
You're 23 years old and dad's going to decide that what happens to you. It's just,
I fully believe it's possible that Joe did this on his own. I'm not sure I believe that Rose was unaware. Yeah. Rose being the mom.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I'm not sure if I believe it. I don't know. Rose knew how to play the game too. And I don't know, Joe did whatever he wanted and had all kinds of affairs on Rose. Maybe this was her way to just kind of stick it back at him and say I was innocent. I don't know. I'm speculating on all that. That's getting into that dark side of Camelot type shit. Anyways, in November of 1941, at 23 years old, Rosemary Kennedy received a lobotomy from Freeman and Watts. Throughout the entire operation, Rosemary was awake, actively speaking with her doctors, singing songs, and even reciting poems to her nurses. I even read that at one point they would have her say the alphabet, say it backwards, have her count up, have her count down, just talking to her throughout it.
So they did that with a lot of people early on before we get to like the ice pick shit that we'll get into later. Like at this time when they're in their surgery rooms, they would do that. That was like a standard thing with everybody. And I guess the thought is to keep their brain going during.
Well, and I think that makes sense because they knew that the procedure was complete when she stopped speaking and answering their questions. Like they knew they must have hit what they. Oh. Why is it so long?
This is so unnecessary.
That's the procedure. 15 seconds. That's how long it takes.
Oh my God. Immediately after the procedure, the Kennedys realized that something was wrong with their daughter. Not only had the operation failed to cure her intellectual challenges, but it also left her extremely disabled. Rosemary could no longer speak or walk properly. It was said that she now had the mental capacity of a 2-year-old. So again, she was 23, maybe had the intellectual abilities of a 12 or 13-year-old. Now she's at a 2-year-old, and she can't walk. She can barely move. She was moved to the Craig House, a private psychiatric hospital outside of New York City, and spent months in physical therapy before she regained normal movement. And even then, it was only partial movement in one arm. In 1949, she was moved to the St. Coletta School of Exceptional Children in Wisconsin and would remain there for the rest of her life. Most of this information was kept from Rosemary's siblings for many years. At the time, they weren't aware any of this was occurring. This would have been JFK, Bobby Kennedy, all of their sisters.
Where do they think she was?
So we'll talk about it, but they were told that she was out. She had a mental illness, or she was a recluse. She was out away at boarding school. They didn't let them know that there was a fuck up at birth, or that there was a lobotomy, a failed procedure that drastically changed her life.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure they asked questions because they were Kennedys. They follow the order. If Dad said you're going to shut up and do this, you're going to shut up and do that.
Eric, I have no further questions.
Yeah, couldn't you eventually be like, I'd like to see my sister at least?
Eric, where's my sister?
Yeah.
Never mind. Let's go get pussy.
Because we'll get to it in a minute. Once they find out, like, they're all in about, like, that's our sister. We're going to go fucking help her.
Crazy. Who's Rosemary? Where's the cocaine and pussy? First things first.
Settle down, Ted. But I also think Joe did it as a way to protect, like, JFK. He's like, well, I don't need him answering questions about this or having to lie when he's on the campaign trail. Yeah. Just, that's my sister. She's mentally ill. She's away. Since only Joe and Rose knew the situation and they pretty much kayfabed their kids to all of this, nobody even went to visit Rosemary for decades while she was sent away to this institution in Wisconsin. Throughout that time, the family made excuses for her absence, stating that Rosemary was reclusive and later that she was mentally ill. However, Joe did provide Rosemary with a few benefits, which included her own private house on the campus called the Kennedy Cottage, as well as a dog, and he paid for her to have a car that they could take her on drives in.
Oh, good for you.
I think that was he never went and saw her again.
Unbelievable.
After the lobotomy, he sent her away and that was it.
He never saw her again?
He never went. No. And Rose, we'll get to that in a minute. She didn't go for 20 years. Jeez. She waited. Well, that's the next part. It wasn't until he never went. He paid for those things. And I think in his mind, I did my part. She's done. She's out of my life. It wasn't until after Joe Kennedy suffered a massive stroke in 1961, which was right around the beginning of JFK's presidency, that Rose finally went to go see her daughter again, 20 years after the failed lobotomy. During the visit, in kind of a panicked rage, Rosemary actually attacked her mom. They felt it was just kind of her way of expressing herself and not knowing what to do. Yeah.
I told you not to go see her. This what happened. I told you. I told you, Rose. What are you doing?
Additionally, the rest of the Kennedy siblings were made aware of Rosemary's whereabouts over time. At that point, the Kennedy children would spend the rest of their lives trying to reintegrate their sister into their own lives. Rosemary would travel to Florida, Washington, D.C., and Cape Cod to spend time with her siblings. And eventually, she did learn how to walk again. Like, that took decades for her to be able to walk again. She used to go to dances and parties and, kind of be like the life of the party
and
type thing.
Apparently, because they were worried about the venereal diseases, right?
Perhaps. Well, that was the nuns, I think, trying to scare the family, but yeah.
She developed some bad habits in the convent. Yeah.
How dare you dance with boys? Once the Kennedy children realized what their parents had done to Rosemary, they began to champion rights for disabled people in America. Eunice Kennedy Shriver had a particularly close relationship with her big sister and a lot of empathy for Rosemary, as well as others who faced similar challenges. In 1962, she started a summer day camp in her own backyard for children and adults with intellectual disabilities. The camp eventually evolved into what is now known as the Special Olympics.
Huh.
Along with Eunice, Rosemary also inspired her brother, President John F. Kennedy, to initiate sweeping legislation designed to improve the quality of life for Americans with disabilities.
Eric, we're not going to kill cripples anymore. You're going to treat them just like any other regular American. Stop killing cripples.
Yes, that's exact audio taken from one of his speeches.
Handy-capable, not handicapped. So let it be written, so let it be done. Ask not what... Ask not what you can do for your crippled neighbor, but what your crippled neighbor can do for you.
Rosemary Kennedy died on January 7th, 2005, at the age of 86. Incidentally, a few weeks ago was the 20th anniversary of her death.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
She was buried alongside her family at Holyhood Cemetery in Brookline, Massachusetts. One last interesting thing to note, Rosemary's lobotomy was not actually made public knowledge until 1987, when fantastic historian Doris Kearns Goodwin discovered the information while researching for her book, The Fitzgeralds and the Kennedys.
Isn't that interesting?
She's written a lot of good history books. If anybody wants more information on Rosemary Kennedy, there's a biography called Rosemary, the Hidden Kennedy Daughter, written by Kate Clifford Larson, that is a really good deep dive into Rosemary's life and times. In the words of the late, great Forrest Gump, that's all I got to say about that.
That is a nutty story.
And Freeman was aware of the outcome of this. Like,
before he carried on, he knew what he did here.
they are clearly aware of this. And
She wasn't the first one that happened to, that set her back, 20 years.
and you would think that maybe like a high profile botch like this would stop this. Like the story might dwindle from here, but that's not the case.
That's not what happened. Like presumably,
Because they kayfabed it though too.
Well, yeah.
Right? Like the Kennedys hid it. They obviously weren't going to say it.
like
No.
Kennedy could have torpedoed this whole thing and put this guy out of business, and this would have been the end of it. But then people would have learned about
And his son wouldn't have been president, Dave. What are you trying to say?
right. That's right.
At least in his mind, his son wouldn't have been president.
So Rosemary happened in 1941. You'd think it would be done with that, but it was not. 1942, Freeman and Watts published a paper summarizing their work with over 200 lobotomy patients. Their results showed that 63% improved, 23% stayed the same, and 14% got worse after surgeries. Critics pointed out that improved often just meant that the patient was calmer or less disruptive in the asylum. They're not going to be able to return to a normal life. They're just standing around an asylum all day.
Based on
quiet.
that, Rosemary was a success. Improved.
Yeah.
She was calmer.
Right.
Stop fighting.
She wasn't doing fuck all.
Freeman and Watts argued that making a difficult patient easier to manage was still a major step forward for psychiatry. I guess you can see that if you're looking through the lens of 1942 and doctors aren't happy with this and they're like, well, okay, then you do something to make people calmer. It's not great, but I can see it.
Yeah. If you're overwhelmed with patients like this and you have no options and this is your one option, sure.
You have to look through the lens of 1942, I think, and like the conditions of those places. And I don't know that, like when you have schizophrenia, like when you're in the complete, like just gone into it, your muscles get stiff a lot of times. So like if you're watching those old videos and stuff, I don't know, like stretching out people's arms, trying to get them to not be stiff anymore. And they're just like all froze up. And then they get a lobotomy and they're loose. So through the lens of 1942, I guess in some cases,
through the lens of having no other options available. And
right.
yeah.
So
through the lens of the ease of the person running the place versus the lens of the person living that existence.
Yeah.
That's two totally separate things.
Right.
If you're the head doctor of an asylum and you have over 100 people that are just in the throes of schizophrenia and whatever else, and there's no relief other than chain them up and stuff and fight with them all day, or you can lobotomize them, and then we get into abuse and everything else from there. But yeah.
But even from your perspective running it, you're going to view that person's existence as being infinitely better than being chained up all day or just sitting there like a grapefruit staring at the wall all day.
Yeah, because medications don't exist.
Yeah, it's all in how you view that.
We're a long ways away from any psychiatric drugs existing at this point in the story. So, yeah.
I mean, that's a deep, complicated conversation. The moral ambiguities here. It's not cut and dry by any means, like you said earlier.
Yeah. So from the start, Freeman knew how to get attention. While most doctors avoided the media, Freeman embraced it. He would give interviews, pose for photos with patients before and after their surgeries. Newspapers ran stories about people who went from being, quote, out of control to calm and being able to rejoin their families after a lobotomy. Headlines called it a, quote, miracle surgery, and people paid attention. Not every family back then wanted to be rid of their loved ones who had these issues. We talked about it earlier with the lady whose mother had schizophrenia. There were just a lot of people that were desperate to get their loved ones help and were terrified of the procedure. They just didn't know what else to do.
No.
Sure, and then you have doctors convincing you like, oh, this is the way to go. You're going to probably be susceptible to believe that.
Mm-hmm. Like, it sounds scary. You're going to do brain surgery on my brother or something, but it's going to bring him back, or at least give us a calmer version of him.
Surgery in the loosest sense of the word.
Right. Because it's being promoted to the public as a cure-all kind of thing at this point. Behind the scenes, doctors are not happy with this thing at all. The PBS show talked about a meeting in Boston where all these high profile doctors, and they sat down, and there was a long kind of conference that went into the night, and everyone was screaming and yelling and like hated Freeman and threw him out and shit. But none of them spoke publicly about it, because back then it was considered like career suicide to question another doctor in public. So nobody ever heard about the dangers of a lobotomy.
Isn't that interesting?
It was all kept behind the scenes. A good amount of asylums were using the Freeman-Watts technique for lobotomies, and the media loved Freeman. But despite his success, Freeman wasn't happy. Major surgeries needed operating rooms, medical teams, general anesthesia, and recovery time, all of which made it a hard procedure to quickly do. In many of these locations, the asylums weren't equipped with an operating room and all that stuff. Freeman wanted something simpler, a method that could be used without needing special staff or equipment. This led him to the work of Amaro Fiumberti, an Italian psychiatrist. Fiumberti had developed a technique to reach the brain through the eye sockets instead of the sides of the skull. He tried injecting alcohol into the frontal lobes using a needle tapped through a thin bone under the upper eyelid. By the mid-1940s, Freeman began studying these experiments. He realized that improving Fiumberti's transorbital method, he could create a procedure that only needed a pick-like tool and a mallet. No operating rooms, special equipment, or anesthesia.
You look at the sausage.
That's audio of Fiumberti training Freeman.
That's one of the most disgusting paragraphs we've ever read.
This is where it's going to start getting cringy.
I can't do eye stuff in general, let alone how brutal this is.
Have you ever seen any videos of these?
No, I won't watch them. I mean, I get the picture, and I don't need to see it.
Oh, man.
just even looking at the pictures from back then of it being done is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, look, maybe if they had happy endings, I'd. And like, I just picture them breaking an orbital bone, like just going through.
Gives you a chill. It's still going.
I've broken my orbital bone. It doesn't feel good.
Like maybe if they were all success stories, I'd be like, okay, I get it. It's not, it's terrible, but it works. But that's not what it is. It's fucking brutality that just leads to further, maiming these people.
The before and after pictures are always interesting in these cases, like Freeman. And,
fucking posing with them.
Well, yeah, but they would take a before and then the after, they would be all calm. There's never an in-between, like, recovery phase. Those pictures are really scary. Like the black eyes that people have, like their eyes are just fucking swollen shut.
It's like the nose job pics where your whole face is all black and blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see this before and after where they're all calm and whatever, but it's not.
This is great.
Yeah, that recovery took a minute to get to that point.
We got to move on. My head's going to hit the table.
So Freeman began experimenting first on cadavers to see how easily he could reach the frontal lobe through the eye sockets. It's said that he practiced on a grapefruit in his kitchen. That's according to his sons, testing how many taps it took to push a pick through the peel without breaking it. Eventually, he created a tool that's the right size, thickness, similar to a household ice pick that he called an orbitoclast. By angling it toward the bridge of the nose and tapping it with a mallet, he could break through the bone and reach the white matter of the frontal lobe. From there, he would move the tool side to side.
Just hollowing out the lobe, right?
So the video I watched of a doctor explaining it, the doctor said, like, once you got it in there, it's just a quick, like that, and it's done.
Oh, my God.
It's all... Remember, James Watts was a skilled brain surgeon, and he was appalled at the idea of doing something like this outside of an operating room without proper safety measures. I'm not sure what his views on the success rate was, like if he was just willing to push forward the way Freeman was exactly. I don't know about that, but how this is told is that Watts walked into their office one day and found Freeman performing a transorbital lobotomy. The patient was unconscious and the tool was sticking out of their eye socket. Freeman casually asked Watts to hold the tool while he grabbed a camera to take a picture of himself with the patient.
Selfie.
Watts refused, and that day their partnership ended. Watts moved all of his stuff out of that office.
My God.
You think Watts was having real trouble with some of this?
Seemed like he was just a good surgeon.
And maybe he was realizing, like, we're not doing as great as we are saying we are.
It's kind of what it seems like.
Yeah.
And this was just like the straw that broke the camel's back. Whatever.
Yeah, I could kayfabe it to an extent, but now you're fucking taking all these photos and stuff.
And like, you're not a surgeon, dude. What are you doing in this room? Like, this isn't a surgery room.
It's not surgery anymore.
Like, you just got an ice pick sticking out of this person's eye.
Right.
I wonder if they, why they decided not to take the before photo with the young and exuberant Rosemary, and then take the after photo with her in a wheelchair, incoherent, not being able to speak.
Pissing herself.
Yeah.
Freeman's first live procedure was in January 1946 on a 29-year-old mother named Ellen Linesco, who suffered from severe depression and suicidal thoughts. Ellen's reaction right after the surgery was calm, and soon most of her severe symptoms seemed to improve. For Freeman, this was proof that he had found a faster, cheaper alternative to a traditional lobotomy, one that could be used in state-run asylums. By the end of 1946, Freeman was traveling the country in a car nicknamed Lobotomobile. Lobotomobile. That's a weird word to even fucking try and say.
It's fucking gimmicking this thing up.
Jeez.
It's like, which one it called? It's Death Van.
Kevorkian, yeah. Get your lobotomies into the lobotomobile.
You see that in the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, just both going down the street together.
You want a hot dog or you want a lobotomy?
He visited hospitals, gathered staff for demonstrations, and performed several lobotomies in a single day. In one famous case, it said that he performed 25 transorbital lobotomies back to back. $25 a patient, so that's about $400 in today's money. So a $10,000 afternoon to do 25 transorbital lobotomies and go to the next asylum. It's not a bad day of work.
God damn.
He's making bank.
Lobotomy, loboto you. I'm getting rich.
In between this time, Moniz won the Nobel Peace Prize in Physiology in 1949. This was later called an error of judgment.
Was it now?
Yeah, they took that off him.
Did they strip it from him?
Oops.
Like, our bad.
Yeah, I was only joking.
By 1951, American doctors had performed over 18,000 lobotomies. Many of those were done by Freeman or doctors personally taught by him, because he would also teach these doctors in asylums how to do the ice pick lobotomy really quick. So then that just kind of leads to abuse and kind of the soft euthanizing of a lot of this country's mentally ill population.
There's just no oversight over this.
Yeah, because you can, in 24 hours, you can lobotomize half the fucking asylum.
Yeah. This patient had a bad day. This patient had a psychotic break through some feces at the orderly or whatever. Guess what you're getting?
Yep.
This spread to other countries too? Or was this mainly, outside of Moniz? Where's Moniz in Portugal?
Yeah, Italy seemed to kind of be a big fan of it for a minute. I think Italy... it happened everywhere, but not like here, not like this.
Yeah.
In 1954, Thorazine was introduced as a non-surgical way to reduce psychotic symptoms. At the time, it was called a chemical lobotomy, and it had similar effects without permanently damaging the brain. Thorazine's success paved the way for other drugs like the antidepressants and stuff that we have now, and it made the lobotomy less necessary. Pills were easier for institutions to use. Still, Freeman refused to give up. Even as others stopped performing the procedure, he argued that it was still necessary for severe cases that didn't respond to other treatments.
Like, you're not pushing me out of the game, motherfucker.
But public opinion started to turn against him. Horror stories like Rosemary Kennedy's case, not her specifically, but horror stories where people can't, are just left in a wheelchair, all day long, things like that. The shift in medical ethics after World War II also played a big role in phasing out lobotomies. The Nuremberg Code and later rules established informed consent and protecting patients from unethical experiments. Because that's like a whole other layer to this is the consent. Like, none of these people are giving consent to have this done to them.
Not a single one.
Sure, right. Especially not Rosemary. She's 23 years old.
Yeah. None of that was court ordered. To the best of my knowledge, and I'm very strongly believe this, her parents were not her legal guardians. She was 23 years old.
Exactly.
Just wealth and influence in that case.
Yeah. And there's just no laws on the books to protect any of this stuff like that.
Which is just so crazy to think about. Anyone could turn anyone in for a lobotomy.
Yeah.
Like, not anyone, but like I have no legal medical authority over you. If you were pissing me off, I'm like, oh, give this guy a lobotomy. He needs it real bad.
Or especially if you're a ward of the state, like in these psychiatric institutions. Like,
Well, even that, it's just fair game, right?
Like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Didn't Nurse Ratched? Isn't that how it ended? Nurse Ratched gave Jack Nicholson a lobotomy. Isn't that what happened? He just sat there in the wheelchair, kind of drooling on himself.
Yeah.
One of the last lobotomies Freeman did was so over the line. Howard Dully was born in 1948 in Oakland, California. As a kid, he was described as mischievous, but not any different from other boys his age. However, his stepmother, Lou Dully, viewed him as unbearable. She said that Howard was defiant, disobedient, and incapable of adjusting to her rules after she married Howard's father, Rodney, in 1953.
You know, when I was a kid, I was disobedient and defiant and incapable of adjusting to other people's rules. So
Good thing you weren't born at this time.
God damn it. I was about to say, it's lucky you survived being born in 1953 as well.
Isn't that joke getting a little old by now?
Not as old as you.
Howard Dawley was only 12 years old when Freeman performed the procedure on December 16th, 1960. His stepmother had taken him to multiple doctors before Freeman, many of whom found no evidence that Howard had a mental illness. But this woman was convinced that something was wrong with Howard, and Freeman was right there to go along with it.
Well, because she was a stepmother, not his mother, and got probably thrown into the situation and wasn't used to dealing with rambunctious kids that age. And just like, there's got to be something wrong with this motherfucker. He won't listen to anything.
Where was Rodney?
He was at work, Mike.
Yeah.
He's the breadwinner.
It was just the middle of the
Look
day.
here, see? Take care of that step kid of yours. He's a bad seed. He's disobedient, defiant.
That man 100% had his pants pulled up to his nipples.
Absolutely, he did.
With suspenders. Sleeves rolled up.
Freeman's notes from this time show that he believed Howard displayed signs of childhood schizophrenia, but there's no diagnosis of that grounded in reality at all. Lou Dawley's persistent complaints about Howard, specifically the one that he, quote, daydreamed too much, was enough for Freeman to proceed.
Sheesh.
That's just, I don't know. There's something about that when we'll talk about Howard Dawley today, but when you hear him talk, say that, I daydream too much. What a fucking cruel thing.
He's a little boy.
Yeah.
Awful.
He's a boy.
Yeah. Nothing more, probably.
They didn't tell Howard that the procedure had been done until 2 or 3 weeks afterward. Afterward, Howard showed confusion, disorientation, and emotional withdrawal. Realizing it didn't work, Howard's father and stepmother institutionalized him, and from there he was sent to a foster home. Howard later spent years in various institutions, including group homes and juvenile detention centers. Despite all of this, Howard survived. In 2005, he began to investigate the circumstances of his lobotomy. He got a hold of Freeman's medical records, and this led to his 2007 memoir, My Lobotomy. His book details, his childhood, the lobotomy, and trying to rebuild his life. He struggled a lot with homelessness, substance abuse, difficulty keeping relationships. He gives an interview in the PBS show that we talked about, the old one. It's sad and it's scary. It's really creepy, or an unsettling feeling to hear him talk about how he just feels that something about himself is missing, but he can't put his finger on it. He also did an NPR documentary, which brought a lot of attention to his story, and he has since become a very vocal advocate for mental health reform. So I hope he is doing well. That is crazy to survive that. And
It really is. Mm-hmm. And to be functioning so well, right?
Yeah, I mean,
close to well.
If he didn't tell you, you wouldn't know that anything had happened to him.
It's almost in some ways worse than Rosemary's case because she didn't have a life afterwards. He did. And he was kind of out on his own to figure it out and had
Without
struggle
a rich
with
family.
that. She had to live in an institution and just be taken care of the rest of her life.
Yeah, that's even colder than saying that he just daydreams too much. When it didn't work, they just fucking throw him away.
See you later.
I have questions for Rodney. First of all, how dare you? Second, made better choices in women.
Yeah, no kidding. You put your new wife ahead of your kid, dude. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. That's really tough. At first, I thought about buying that book, and then I was like, I don't want to read that. That's just not a feel-good story at all. I'm glad he's hopefully doing well, like you said.
Yeah.
I don't want to read that childhood shit.
Kids before hoes.
I have that tattooed on my left testicle.
So Freeman's downfall came in 1967 when his patient Helen Mortensen died of a brain hemorrhage during her third lobotomy. Her third.
What?
he lost his hospital privileges and retired soon after. He ended up dying of complications during an operation for cancer on May 31st, 1972. And it's crazy that it lasted until 1967. He was still doing these.
It's wild that you had Dr. Freeman, and we'll do this show eventually, maybe a Mike's History Show, and Max Jacobson, Dr. Feelgood, running around at the same time. One's dishing out lobotomies, one's dishing out meth.
It's like crazy.
I'll take the meth, please.
Well, if you're wealthy, you get the meth.
Yeah.
If you're not, you get the lobotomy.
Exactly.
And it was almost, I think Jacobson went to like 70, right about the same time. He was a few years after. He lasted a few years longer than Freeman.
So who is that guy?
Max Jacobson.
Yeah.
He was the one, Dr. Feelgood. He was the one that was shooting up JFK, Marilyn Monroe, Jackie Kennedy.
Didn't he have like a concoction, like his own special?
He had his own special, and it was back when it wasn't really regulated. Like he was getting away with all of this, and allegedly was shooting up, and some of it still hasn't been confirmed, but he was shooting up all kinds of celebrities, and they would get hooked on it because they have that high and they have those come downs, and he was shooting up everybody. We'll cover that for sure one day on some format or platform.
Well, that is a horrifying thing.
Any other fun, interesting facts you found in your research, Ian? Any other things to note or discuss?
No.
Was my sound effect pretty close with the hammering chisel?
That's fucking brutal.
I'd assume it'd have to be.
Yeah, I thought so.
I can't even fucking imagine.
You're like, because you're fucking awake. You're like, are you like just looking up? Like, all right, focus
they're
on this
talking
dot.
to you.
Focus on the dot on the ceiling while I pound this chisel through your eye socket. Like I had a paper cut earlier tonight. I almost started crying.
Paper cuts are fucking awful.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
But pounding a chisel into my eye socket.
Well, that doesn't
is
sound fun
so
either.
much worse.
To like find like what is the pressure too to actually, like how hard do you have to hit?
Yeah.
Well, all that practice in the grapefruits.
Yeah.
Is it exact science? No. Like, what if you hit too hard and go, he's practicing on a grapefruit to get the exact amount of pressure to break through the bone. Like, I feel like.
That doesn't always translate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Were some people's bones a little less thick and he hit it a little too hard and it went a little deeper than it should have?
Definitely.
Yes, of course. He wasn't a surgeon, right?
No, he was not a surgeon.
Do you think his dad walked in and saw those like destroyed grapefruits and was just like, "Well, tell your mother we ate it all"?
His sons are interesting. One son seemed to be very much an apologist. Like my dad was good.
Yeah.
And he just had too much confidence, maybe. Like, and then the other son is like, yeah, he's a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
His quote was, "Finding a successful lobotomy is like finding a successful car crash. No matter how small a fender bender, it's still a car crash. You're still
Sustaining some damage.
right. You're doing a brain surgery that isn't a surgery, and that you're just damaging someone's brain."
Do you think Dr. Freeman actually believed he was doing well? Or do you think he was just pulling the wool over people's eyes and just collecting paychecks?
Good question.
Because I think that's also like with the son's standpoint, like what it comes down to. Like, did he really think he was making most people's lives better? I don't know how you could think that.
Maybe at the start, and then as you
he got in
keep
too
going
deep,
down
maybe,
that path,
and just had to ride it out.
Like blind pride. I don't know. You're afraid to admit that maybe this isn't the greatest thing, and
your life's work was kind of a bust.
You're pot committed with your life. Yeah.
I certainly don't think he started out with bad intentions. He was trying to help
That's
people.
probably right.
As soon as he started doing the transorbital, that's when it's like you're not really trying to help anymore. You're just trying to come up with a quick method that can just make money. It seems at that point where he's charging.
It's easier. Makes it easier. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like taking all the pictures. Like there's pictures with him with like, he's got his, like his sleeves are cut off and stuff. And it's very weird. It's a weird thing.
God complex almost. Like we talked at the beginning, like he felt like he was born into this family of medicine and he's like the chosen one kind of thing. And he knows better than anyone else.
It's the vibe you get from his diaries.
Yeah.
I don't think lobotomies are good.
Final
thought.
Yeah, let's not bring them back.
No?
I don't think we need them anymore. Modern medicine has eclipsed the usefulness of lobotomies, I think.
Depends how you look at it, I guess. There might be a few people.
Oh, I have a list of people I'd be happy with lobotomizing. Sure.
I would.
That goes without
lobotomize,
saying.
Yeah. And based on this, I don't have to have any legal authority over them. I could just recommend them for a lobotomy and they get it.
That's scary. Back then, like we talked about like the housewife thing, you know, and like all my wife's being emotional.
Yeah.
But like you could get somebody locked away back then over something silly.
Shit, women couldn't even open their own checking accounts back then. Their husbands had.
Wait, can they now?
Some Borat. What?
What? It's not good for me.
That seems like it is good for you.
Oh, boy.
All right, Dave, what do we got on Patreon?
Thank you to new patrons, Queen Laquifa. That's good. Anthony Marcelino, hell yeah. Gave himself a hell yeah.
All right.
Really excited.
Jaden D. Herrera, Dan Murphy, Billy Doherty, Celeste, Jonathan Mendez, Charles Smith, Alex, Christian Parker, DJ Washam, Amanda Wright, Joe Williams, Ben Walker, Most Peculiar Mama, Pedrick Duque, Michael Newby, I Cucked Human Z. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, okay.
Oh no! Oh no! No, 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 no.
There you go. Underdesk blowies, $15. That's not a bad deal.
I have to bring Mr. President back in and talk about that. Mm-hmm. Friend of the show, Bill Clinton.
I'll email you later on that offer. Not Gohan, Brennan, Emma Walton, Frogs Swim, Emily Wheeler, Martin Hissey, Toby Burnt, Megan Williams, Jennifer Everett, Michael Egging, and Brianna McWhorter. Thank you, new patrons. Please enjoy yourself in the Patreon archives.
It's a lot there.
Ton.
Ian, what do you got on your end?
I don't have anything this week.
Okay.
That's okay. Don't feel don't feel bad.
No, I got nothing.
Dave, did you have anything else?
I don't. No.
All right. Well, that'll wrap this bitch up.
Good episode. I like that. It's depressing a little bit, but it was interesting.
Very unsettling, like I think you said earlier. Yeah.
And just something different than what we normally do, which is always fun for us.
Well, I'm going to go upstairs and crack a chisel into my orbital socket and see what happens, right? That might be calmer next week.
See what happens. That'll be fun for everybody.
Guys might have to hold my penis when I take a pee break if I don't remember how to do that.
We'll put you into Depends, buddy. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at Necronomipod, Patreon.com, search Necronomipod, or Patreon.com/Necronomipod for all of our bonus content. Amazon.com is where you can search Necronomipod and find all of our merch, and Necronomipod.com.
All right, you guys ready for the cool down beer?
Cheers.